Welcome to another episode of my podcast on effective teamwork agility pills. Today we're going to talk about Kaizen, Japan philosophy of continuous improvement. You're sitting in a retrospective, the team is discussing the sprint, everything seems fine, but you feel a hint of dissatisfaction somewhere? They may seem like small things, minor stumbles, but they accumulate into something bigger. That's when the word Kaizen appears, like a mantra. But what is it actually, this mythical Kaizen that we hear so much about in the context of agile and lean? Kaizen, translated from Japanese as change for the better, kai change, zen good, is not a one-time outburst, a revolution from Monday. It's more of a philosophy of continuous improvement, small steps that add up to a significant transformation. Imagine a dripping faucet. One drop is nothing, but after a few hours you have a small puddle. Kaizen is turning off the faucet, not just wiping the floor. I remember working with a team that had a problem with estimating tasks. They were always late, sprints dragged on, and morale dropped. Instead of implementing drastic changes, I suggested a small experiment. After each sprint, we had a short session where we analyzed what went well and what could be improved in the context of estimates. They started with small things, more precise task descriptions, including time for testing. From sprint to sprint, I saw their estimates becoming more and more accurate, and team frustration gave way to satisfaction. This was Kaizen in practice. Kaizen is not just about business or IT. It is a philosophy that can be applied to every aspect of life. Remember how you learned to ride a bike? In the beginning, there were falls, scrapes, moments of doubt. But with each subsequent attempt, you pedaled more confidently, you kept your balance longer. This is also a form of Kaizen, continuous improvement through small, repeatable steps. I once heard an anecdote about a sushi master who spent years perfecting the art of cutting fish. The point was not to achieve perfection right away, but to be a little better every day than yesterday. This story perfectly captures the essence of Kaizen. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, where every step counts, even the smallest. In the context of Agile, Kaizen fits perfectly into the idea of retrospectives. It's during retrospectives that we have space for reflection, analysis, and identification of areas for improvement. It's not about finding guilty parties, but about jointly searching for development opportunities. It's not about implementing revolutionary changes after each retrospective, but about choosing one small element that we can improve in the next sprint. The key to Kaizen's success is the involvement of all team members. This is not a task for a manager or leader, it's the responsibility of each of us. Everyone has the right and obligation to submit ideas for improvements, even the smallest ones. Remember that even a small change, implemented consistently, can bring huge results. Implementing Kaizen is not just spontaneous ideas, but a well-thought-out process. Although this philosophy emphasizes continuous, small improvements, a certain structured scheme of action can help an effective implementation of changes. There is no single, universal recipe for Kaizen, but below I will describe 7 stages that often appear in literature and practice, and which can be a solid starting point. Identifying the problem/area for improvement. Every change starts with identifying the problem or area that needs improvement. This can be anything, from mess at the workstation, to long waiting times for document approval, to communication problems in the team. It is important for the problem to be specific and measurable. Instead of saying we have communication problems, it is better to say team meetings are ineffective and take too long. At this stage, tools such as the Ishikawa diagram, fishbone, or Pareto analysis can be helpful. Analysis of the current state, Gemba. Gemba is a Japanese word meaning the place where the action happens. In the context of Kaizen, it means going to the place where a given process takes place and observing it live. The idea is to see how the work actually looks like, not just rely on descriptions or reports. Gemba observation allows you to identify waste, muda, bottlenecks, and other problems that may not be visible at first glance. Developing improvement proposals. After a thorough analysis of the current state, it's time to brainstorm and generate ideas for improvements. It is important that the entire team participates in this stage, because different perspectives can lead to innovative solutions. Do not reject any idea outright, even if it seems unusual. It is worth using creative thinking techniques, such as 5 whys, to get to the root of the problem. Test implementation, experiment. Instead of immediately implementing changes on a large scale, it is worth conducting a test implementation on a small scale. This allows you to check whether the proposed solution actually works and what effects it brings. At this stage, it is important to monitor indicators and collect data to be able to objectively assess the effectiveness of the change. Evaluation of effects and standardization. After the test period, it should be assessed whether the implemented improvement brought the expected results. If so, they should be documented and implemented as a standard. Standardization is key to maintaining the effects of Kaizen. The point is that the developed good practices are used by everyone and on a permanent basis. Continuous monitoring and improvement. Kaizen is a continuous process, so even after standardization, the effects of the implemented changes should be monitored and further opportunities for improvement should be sought. The world is changing, processes are evolving, so it is important to be flexible and ready to adapt. Sharing knowledge and experience. The last, but equally important stage is sharing knowledge and experience with others. Successes and failures of Kaizen implementations should be discussed and documented so that the entire organization can learn and grow. Creating a culture of continuous improvement is the basis for effective Kaizen and should include engagement of everyone. Kaizen requires the involvement of all employees, from management to employees. Small steps. It is not about revolution, but about small, systematic changes. Continuity. Kaizen is not a one-time project, but a philosophy of continuous improvement. Visualization. Using visual tools such as Kanban boards or charts makes it easier to monitor progress and communicate. Remember that these 7 stages are a certain scheme that can be adapted to the specifics of a given organization and the problem. The most important thing is to understand the idea of continuous improvement and consistently strive to be a little better every day. Kaizen is not a magic pill that will solve all problems immediately. It is a process that takes time, patience, and commitment. But if we approach it with an open mind and a willingness to constantly learn, we can achieve truly amazing results. It is a constant pursuit of the better, the awareness that something can always be improved, perfected. And it is this pursuit, this constant desire to develop, that is the essence of Kaizen. Alexander Koska Agile Institute.